everybody, SONGOSHUAKU'S here, and welcome to a very special interview today because I am going to be interviewing a good friend of mine from college and a tremendous artist. Believe me, you guys are going to love this guy with his amazing artwork. It's just the watercolors and the amount of details that he puts in. You guys are in for a blast. All right, I am introducing here Dronez.
Hey everybody, how's it going? We are live via drones. I'm Drones. How's it going?
All right. So, yeah, let's get started with this interview. So, my first question is, it kind of basically, I have two questions here. It pretty much probably all mashes together. What made you become an artist and sort of influence your art?
Actually, I've been drawing since I was in second grade. Probably, no, not even. It must have been earlier. I was in pre-K. I was inspired by my aunt. She's an artist. Her name is Griselda. She's been painting all her life. And thanks to her, I got inspired. I remember one of my earliest drawings was in second grade. I painted this elephant, and I was so proud of it. And I've got so much praise from it that it inspired me to want to create more and gain more positivity, positive feedback on my artwork. And I had a ton of fun with it. And that was one of the earliest experiences I've had with watercolor. Ever since then, I've been wanting to paint like just animals and stuff. When I was younger, I painted a lot more animals. Now I just love drawing people. In high school, I always doodled on my notes. Like there wasn't a single note that I didn't have a doodle on it. So from then on, I've just been drawing. Eventually, I started drawing bigger figures on printing paper. I never actually got into my own art supplies, not till probably in college. I just decided to get my own sketchbook, and ever since then, I've just been drawing in it.
Wow, that's pretty cool. I actually did not know that it was pretty much animals that got you
Yeah.
influenced. That is yeah, I did not know that. But when I first started drawing, I think that my first connection to animals was The Lion King. And that's basically what got me into like animals. So that was kind of early stuff when I started drawing when it was like Disney. Because like I think I mentioned in our interview, it was Toy Story, which was the first thing, and then that's when I started drawing all the rest of the Disney characters. And Lion King was a big, huge, obviously until this day, as I said about my short film, ended up being an influence. But yeah, man, that's really cool. While we're on the subject of animals, do you have a favorite animal?
Uh, Damn. Let's see. I've
Oh, I stumped him. Put him on the spot here.
I love sloths. They're a classic animal. Elephants, of course, they're my all-time. I actually penguins. I love penguins.
Nice, nice.
Yeah, I love happy feet. I love those little critters. They're a ton of fun. Let's see. Wow, ducks. If you follow me on Instagram, my Instagram handle is Indie Ducky. It's a play on Innie Outie. Well, I was
Mhm.
gonna go with Innie Ducky, but I think that was taken at the time, so I figured, I'll just go with Indie Ducky instead.
Oh man, this is cool. That is cool. I was gonna say for me, animals. I think my favorite ended up always being the lion. Like I said, Lion King had a big influence on me, so I was like, oh, I like the Lion King lions because they're the king of the jungles. And then when I grew up and learned about how the animal kingdom work, I'm like, oh, the females do all the work and the males just lay around and just lazy. Wow, Lion King, you lied to me when I was a kid. But
I know.
yeah, but
Wow.
it was really good. No, my next question, going to a lot of your work, I see a lot of comic book work,
Yeah.
with your art, and I just want to know, what are some of your favorite comic books out there? I know we definitely have to have a lot of comic book fans probably listening to this, so definitely
I
go
hope
ahead and let
so.
us know. Oh yeah.
Oh, because I'm gonna name a whole bunch of comic book artists. Uh, Dang. I love Batman. Ever since I was a kid. It's way before animals. I was also drawing Batman. I love Batman in the animated series,
Classic.
even the film Batman Forever. That was one of my earliest Introductions, yeah. It gets a lot of flack, but it's actually pretty good. I enjoy it.
I don't
Just
want to cut you over. Did you say that was your introduction to like Batman?
yeah,
Same
Batman
here.
Forever.
Same here. The early Batman movies, Batman Returns, stuff like that. Yeah, but
Yeah,
go on.
Batman Returns, that was my introduction to a darker Batman. So it was like two polar opposites of the same character. Uh, just going from I actually seen the films backwards, so it was Batman Forever, then Batman Returns, and when I saw Batman Returns, I realized this is a much darker Batman than what I'm used to because the one Batman I saw was much darker. Well, very vibrant, very colorful, jumping off rooftops, like that's still my favorite scene in Batman Forever when he's jumping off the rooftop and chasing after Two-Face. He's yeah, he's one of my favorite characters. I still read a ton of Batman comics. If my all-time favorite DC comic is Joker by Brian Azzarello and illustrated by Lee Bermejo. That was actually what inspired me to become an artist.
Oh,
Just to
nice.
yeah, to be a graphic novelist and illustrator. That's what inspired me to pursue a career in the arts. Like everybody was interested in wanted to be a lawyer or a doctor in my school, and I realized that wasn't for me. I just wanted to do what I loved, and I just love drawing. Like
Right,
yeah,
just the expression of it all, just being able to express
yeah, yeah,
yourself.
yeah. That's I guess this yeah. When I draw, I can't go a day without drawing. And even if I do, I'm like already thinking about, okay, so I got to make up for it tomorrow. I got to do at least 2 drawings tomorrow to make up for today.
Mhm.
I just don't want to go a day without it.
And
It's a ton of
that's what it takes a lot, and everything
fun.
before, I'm the same way with my filmmaking every day, always putting some sort of effort into editing, audio work, always just making sure I can add on to my filmmaking. And I think this goes for anybody out there, whether you be an artist, a
Yeah.
filmmaker, if you play competitive gaming like our friend the Linux Virus, or any other thing, if you are a writer, whatever it is you do, and you're passionate about it, you definitely always want to make sure every day you can put something into it to help make you better at that. That's how you get good, constantly honing your craft. So I think it's really awesome, man, that you're putting that amount of effort into your art. And I like that, you can't let a day go by without working on your art. And even if it does, then you want to do double the amount of work to make sure you're not falling behind. So that's
Yeah.
props, man. That's what it takes.
I still even like take out like I actually yesterday, at the time recording this yesterday, I went to the library and picked up a how to draw book because I love to practice too. Like sometimes I'll feel like out of shape. Like sometimes
Mm-hmm.
I'll forget how to draw an eye, so I'll just do some quick sketches in my sketchbook. So I just still want to stay. It's pretty much a workout for me. I just I still need to practice, even if it's like a simple hand drawing or eyeball. Just I love drawing eyes actually. So I just want to stay in practice when I draw. So even if it's like a simple eye drawing, just anybody can draw an eye. I think I should definitely give it a try. That's one of my pieces of advice. It's just and I just love the practice.
Excellent, man. That's exactly how you get better. Practice, practice, draw, draw, draw.
Yeah.
It's all that's what it's all about. Let's see here. Now since we were on the subject of movies, now I myself actually would consider myself a casual comic book fan. So I actually wanted to ask you this because I know I've heard some people who are like hardcore comic book fans, like they can't stand when there are fans who do nothing but watch the comic book movies, and they act like they're know-it-alls of the series. When my friends tend to get into comic book discussions, I basically am just quiet. I listen and I take in the knowledge
Yeah.
because, like, I've had people tell me, like, do you think Goku could beat this guy from Marvel? I'm like, I'm not getting involved. I know a
Okay.
tremendous about Dragon Ball, but I don't know anything about this, so I'm not going to come off like I know anything. So since I know you're definitely a much more hardcore comic book fan than I am, what is your thoughts on, like, basically the evolution of comic book movies and where they are today because they're so huge and tremendous? And, I mean, just the visual effects, the CGI, and the storytelling, just how huge like the Marvel comic movie universe has become. And I've heard some things about like the DC comic movies are they're maybe starting to get there, but they're not quite at that level. So it'd be really interesting just to hear your thoughts on the whole comic book movie franchise right now.
Well, when it comes to the movies, I'm a casual viewer. I love both the Marvel and DC. Um, I don't like exactly just specifically read Batman comics. I read Spider-Man comics. I read some Superman, Batgirl, Nightwing, Grayson. I used to, and some Wonder Woman. I love their stories. But when it comes to the films, Marvel definitely has them beat in terms of like a story, because they've been working on it for honestly the past 10 years. It is the 10th year to stay at well, not today, but this year is the 10th year anniversary of the first Iron Man film, which pretty much kicked off the whole MCU, the Marvel Cinematic Universe. It's exciting to see the Avengers Infinity. So I'm looking forward to it. As far as DC films, like I said, one of my first introductions to comic book superhero movies was Batman Forever, then Batman Returns. So I'm a little biased when it comes to DC films. Like all my favorite memories were with DC films, and all my favorite movie going experiences were of Marvel films. So I'm gonna say that some films are better than others. Like of course Superman 3, Superman 4 are absolute crap. They're garbage. Especially Superman 4. That's just like, let's just not pretend that those films exist. Like you can watch them and they're like absolutely cringeworthy to the highest extent and more.
Wow.
Yeah. Batman and Robin. I remember that's a bad film too.
I think I've heard about
That's
those late Batman movies. Yeah, I've heard a lot of not so good stuff about them. See, as a kid, I wouldn't care. I just like it's Batman, so I'm watching it.
yeah,
But
same. I thought just for the name alone, I was interested.
right.
Then I saw it. I guess that as a kid, I still had my doubts. Like, yay, Batman!
I am
It has that suit. It
I'm
has Robin. I liked Robin. He's still stayed the same since the last film he was in. That was the last time we saw a Robin film. Actually, well, in a live action film, unless you count Joseph Gordon-Levitt in The Dark Knight Rises. I'm still gonna say that the Dark Knight trilogy is still one of my favorites. Another 10-year anniversary is for the Dark Knight, and it's gonna be this July actually. So that's something to look forward to rewatching. Actually, I should rewatch the films.
oh yeah,
Now,
those are
a
great.
bad film for Marvel
Mm-hmm.
is Spider-Man 3. Although
Yeah, I
people give it
remember.
a lot of hate, but I actually enjoyed it. What I some of the films I don't like is Thor. Like I'm not a fan of the Thor films. They're a little I enjoy them, but they're not my favorites. Like I would probably watch them last if I didn't have to watch them at all, I wouldn't. But oh well, it's the least I can do.
That
Uh,
lines up
eight,
with some of the stuff that I've heard. I've heard some people didn't like the Thor movies as much. So a
yeah,
lot of what you're saying actually lines up with what I've been hearing from other fans.
yeah, no. I guess I'm pretty much in the same boat as them. Well, so far, if it sounds like that, then yeah. Well, the Thor and Thor: The Dark World, they're a little. They have their good moments and their slow moments. I'm not I honestly, like I said, I'm not gonna watch them if I didn't have to. But in you have to, because there's a lot of elements that have still stuck around from the Infinity Stones and the Infinity Gauntlet with Thanos. He's gonna be in this new film. He's the main baddie. Yeah. Another bad Marvel film that I would say sucks. Like really, really sucks. The original Captain America, not the with Chris Evans, but I'm talking about the '90s. The Captain America. There's one. The first time I saw it was on Svengoolie. Actually, if you Svengoolie is amazing. So I love seeing that film with all of the witty sound effects. It was just so ridiculous. That's another cringeworthy film. It's so god awful. I just want to wish I never saw that film, but can't help it. A lot of people are giving the new DC films a lot of crap. There's some people that hated it, some that loved it. I love them. Actually, I'm Batman v Superman, Dawn of Justice. I think when I saw it, it was, I believe, the same year as Captain America Civil War. I was more excited for Batman v Superman because one, it's got Batman, and two, it's just seeing these two iconic heroes face off first before Captain America and Iron Man. It was one of my dreams to see on the big screen because we've heard so many rumors about it. There's been a teaser in that film I Am Legend. We saw like a giant billboard in the background with Batman and Superman logo laid on top of one another. It was just, that was a fun nod to see. And then there was going to be a Superman film with Kevin Smith as a writer. I think Tim Burton was a director or a producer, and Nicolas Cage was going to be Superman himself, Kal-El. I think it's that would have been interesting to see. It was going to be awful. I know that, but I still would have loved to see it. I'd still have loved to see it. I've seen the documentary. It's crazy. Just the whole story right behind it. It's ridiculous. I would recommend anybody who hasn't seen it, they should check it out. It's a really fun documentary film. But Batman v Superman, I enjoyed it. I think a lot of people gave it a flack because there was no story, and I think there was some elements of a story. I think people were confused about the no origins for Batman, which I don't think people needed because we've seen so many Batman origins. We've seen so many Batman films. So the way they introduced Batman in this film was that he's a weathered old vigilante. Like he's been through some stuff, and his Robin died. Like I don't remember which, or if they said it at all, which I think it was Jason Todd that they killed off the second Robin in the comics. He gets killed off by the Joker. So that I'm still looking forward to seeing that story. Like we know stuff has happened. Batman has been through so much. We've seen through so many films. So I applaud Zack Snyder for not boring us with that that background story. It's the same way they did it with Spider-Man and the Captain America films. I applaud them for that. That was one of the highlights in that film.
I was gonna say that I think too when it comes to Batman's background story, I think almost every casual fan, or even if you're not even a fan of comic books, probably already knows. I can't tell how many memes I see, cruel memes about Batman, and like I saw some joke that said, "Hey Batman, parents," and he says, "I don't get it exactly," and I'm like, oh, so like I think everybody's pretty much aware of the background story, but it's actually cool to hear you because I haven't seen the movie yet. I got a lot of these comic book movies to actually catch up on, but it's cool to actually hear a positive perspective on it because that was one of the movies. Like all I've been hearing is that Wonder Woman was the best thing DC put out.
I'm gonna say this right now. Wonder Woman is definitely the biggest highlight. I think the one thing I wish they hadn't done in Batman v Superman was spoiled the fact that Wonder Woman was going to be in the film. I think people would have lost their shit. when I went to see it in theaters, people still lost their shit. But I think it would have been a much bigger reveal if they hadn't ruined her cameo. Well, not her.
Ah, the good old trailer spoiler technique to try and make sure you get
Yeah.
that last ounce of fans that you need to get into the theater.
Not only that, they ruined Doomsday, which was just a rumor at the time till the trailer came out. We saw this giant looking, this gray looking orb. No, orc. Sorry, orc from Lord of the Rings. It looks like a giant CGI blob. That was one of my biggest uh, criticisms of the film slash trailers. But yeah, no, I still enjoyed the film. I think compared to Civil War, actually, I was working in retail at the time. I fell asleep during Civil War, and I was ready to buy another ticket for Batman v Superman. I was so excited. I love the film. Same goes for Super Suicide Squad, which I have a crazy story. Not funny, but it's just tragic. I don't know what the update was of this story, but people loved that film. People were reacting in a positive way. I was in the movie theater. People loved it. They were laughing at the jokes. They were just losing their cools. Every fight scene that happened, people were applauding the film. And I guess this one after the film ended, this one uh, audience member, he collapsed on the floor. I don't know what happened. I guess the adrenaline must have got to him so much that must have had a heart attack.
Ah,
Like
that's
this is an
crazy.
absolute true story. It is one of the craziest things. I remember calling the police too. Calling 911 and let them know that hey, somebody collapsed here in the movie theater. It was scary to see. Like I wish I had an update to see what happened, but that was just scary.
Well, I hope he ended up okay. Like, yeah, I mean,
Yeah, I hope so
yeesh.
too.
We all go to the movies, have a good time. You never want to see something like that.
Yeah, I know. It's like that was that's yeah, that was that was absolutely insane. But
Oh man, that's crazy. But I was gonna let you know the reason why I was laughing just a moment ago because you said you fell asleep during Civil War. Me and my friend, the man 0001, we actually
yeah,
with our friends we went to see Civil War. It came out I think the same weekend as the time we went to Anime Central. So
yeah,
it was a long day. Basically, everybody was trying to finish up rental car business, and we were getting all our friends and getting all our luggage and just trying to get everything all settled. So basically, when we finally got to enjoy the convention, it ended, and we like, okay, let's go to the movie theaters to see Civil War. And man, like, I think about 10, 15 minutes into the movie, we kind of dozed off. So that's why I was
yeah.
laughing because we fell asleep too. But we woke back up to see the majority of the movie and everything. And when we left the movie theaters, we enjoyed the movie, but we were like, man, I don't think we should go to the movies when we're so tired because it was a long day just trying to finish getting ready to this convention. So that's why I was
Yeah,
laughing because I fell asleep a little bit as well too.
yeah, no, I don't know what it was. I fell asleep during, I guess, around the pre superhero fight in the middle,
Hmm.
which was great. I caught that. That was great. I thought that was a great fight scene. But no, that film actually put me to sleep for a bit. I don't. I'm pretty sure it was because I was working a long day. But man, I don't know. Like that just
I'll tell you this
it.
though, it was nice for me to see Spider-Man pop up in there because I actually did not watch the trailers. I didn't know if they were gonna have spoilers. So I'm like, let me just go ahead and
Yeah,
see it.
no.
I was pleasantly surprised.
I think thanks to these two films now,
Hmm.
because those trailers have spoiled films for me. Like I refuse to watch at least one trailer, or if I can like go a whole year without watching a movie trailer. I haven't seen a single trailer for Black Panther, or that's a lie. I saw a commercial. That's about it. But I put it on mute if that counts. I didn't really watch it. I try to ignore it, and yeah, like I'm trying to keep all surprises, all spoilers away from me, pretty much. Which sucks because with the internet age, it's a little difficult. But no, I'm pretty much spoiler free when it comes to Black Panther. So I'm hoping to watch that, and I'm pretty sure that's, from what I'm hearing, it's going to be a great film. It's probably, Black Panther was another highlight in Civil War, and I'm looking forward to seeing that film.
Nice. I'm looking forward to it as well. Michael B. Jordan's going to be in there, and I was
Yeah,
a
yeah.
big fan of his coming out of Creed.
I actually saw Creed. I thought that was a great film. Like,
Excellent.
I've been watching the Rocky films since I was a kid. My stepdad got me into them. My whole family pretty much is a Rocky fan. They make it seem like he's a member of the family.
Nice.
The way everybody talks about him, quotes him, they're like, he's like one of us, just coming out of the neighborhood, big guy, just successful stories. It's like, I love their film. Like, it's got its moments, like Rocky 5, meh. But
It's the
everybody
Dragon Ball GT of the Rocky franchise.
yeah, I'm pretty sure people are pretending like it never happened, and most likely it never did, because like he went from this like popular boxer all the way down to another street thug again, and it's crazy.
Yeah, I love the Rocky franchise.
But
It's no doubt become my favorite movie franchise of all time. Seven,
yeah,
which obviously Rocky 7 pretty much was Creed. When I heard they were doing this, I was like, oh no, Rocky Balboa ended the perfect way. And when I saw the trailer,
yeah,
me and my stepfather were hooked. They were like, wow, this looks pretty good. We saw the movie, loved it. And if you would have told us that, hey, there's going to be another movie after Rocky Balboa where he's just going to be a trainer and he's going to train Apollo Creed's son, I would have been like, oh, I think the series is just being milk now. But man, it was incredible. I can't wait to see what they have installed for the second Creed movie.
yeah. It's the only thing I know about the second Creed film is that the Drago's coming back.
Yeah, I've heard that possibly.
I'm
Yeah.
looking forward to seeing that. They're both great actors. Dolph Lundgren,
Oh yeah.
Sylvester Stallone. I'm excited to see where they take it. I'm pretty sure it comes out this year, if not next year.
I don't know if everyone feels this way, but I would like to see Hulk Hogan and Mr. T make a cameo because
I wouldn't be surprised if that would happen.
it would be cool. I'm like, they're still living. Let's get it in there.
They are actually.
Yeah.
I wish they would bring them back.
Yeah, like let's take advantage while we
Especially
can.
Mr. T was probably. I didn't see Rocky 3 till probably that must have been the last film I saw, because I knew what happened in Rocky 3, but that was the last film I saw, and it sucks. I loved Mickey. He was a great character in the film, and to see him in Rocky 5 one last time, that I'm not gonna lie, I teared up a little.
Hey man, I don't blame you. Stallone is tremendous at what he does, and the way
Yeah.
he's made the films. I love how every movie Rocky has something to overcome. His trainer dies. Now he has to learn a new style, a new way through Apollo. Then Apollo dies, and then he has to kind of sort of become like his own master and like do his own training. It's just it's a challenge on everything. And what I also too really love is, as you could see the times, you could clearly tell the Rocky 1 and 2 was in the 70s, and 4 and 3 and 4 in the 80s, and 55 was in 5 was in the 90s, and
Yeah.
you could tell 6 was 2000s and Creed was 2000 teens here. Like, it's just really cool. Like, Stallone has a really good understanding of the times, and it's just tremendous. What else good can be said about how awesome this franchise is?
I feel like the fans grew up with Rocky.
Absolutely.
The way you just said it is like that's like 30 years right there, pretty much, of just growing up with this character, this Rocky character. Like, just in one way or another, we can almost relate to Rocky.
Absolutely.
And I think it still stands like the test of time. Like, that film is still relatable today, and it's still enjoyable.
Very much so. Very much. And then moving on here, I'd like to go ahead and ask you, what made you decide to become a YouTuber?
Oh, shoot. Okay. Well, if you haven't heard my first podcast, I go into just mention it briefly, but I believe back in 2005, I was making these short film, well, not short films, but these animated videos, like just pretty much posting a picture and just posting music on it. I remember one of my earliest videos was of Mortal Kombat. It was a collage of all these things leading up to the new game, Mortal Kombat Armageddon, which I have a mini funny story about. But yeah, I had collected all these like trailer clips of the game. Well, trailer clips of the game, the actual game, plus some screenshots of the upcoming game and gameplay footage of the past game. Like Deception is still one of my favorite Mortal Kombat games, along with Ultimate Mortal Kombat and the now Mortal Kombat 9 and Mortal Kombat X. But yeah, that was one of my favorite YouTube videos that I wish I still had saved or wish was still stuck around. I'm pretty sure I deleted that channel. It was my first YouTube channel. I called it Lizard Smack, just all one word, Lizard Smack. I wanted to be as random as possible picking out that name. Yeah, I remember one of the comments was, well, a number of comments was just people complaining about the music choice. I chose Buckethead, featuring Serge Tankian of System of a Down. This is We Are One. It's a great song. I first heard it from the Masters of Horror soundtrack. If you didn't watch Masters of Horror, like, what the hell? I thought it was a great choice. It was like very insane, chaotic, just like the Mortal Kombat games. Ever since then, I've just been working on up, and then my friends were all interested in becoming YouTubers too. We saw that we all saw that a lot of the popular YouTubers at the time, like Smosh, Brooker, she was very famous. She we all saw that, hey, we see what they're doing, and we believe that we can do better. Like, we wanted to be the next Jackass on YouTube. I still remember one of our earliest skits was my friend getting tackled in a garbage can, and I'm pretty sure it was me getting hit in the crotch with a katana sword. So it was like we wanted to be the next Jackass on YouTube. That didn't last long, but we still had a ton of fun with it. Then in high school, same thing. Those just most random like skits. I thought, you know what, we can be like Mad TV. Just random skits. Just have fun with it. And that didn't last long because we eventually graduated, but I still had a ton of fun with it. Now I'm focusing on just art. Like, there's a ton of art. There's a big art community. Like, one of my favorites is Bailey J, the painter. Super Ray Dizzle, Chloe Rose Art, Draw with Jazza, Jaden Animations, the odd ones out. They're all great. They're all great artists, I think. And that inspired me to want to tell stories on here too, because Jaden Animations is a great storyteller. So is the odd ones out. And I thought, you know what, I have plenty of stories that I want to tell with my art. Oh, and speaking of Mortal Kombat, the funny story was I had won a contest online for a free copy of the new Mortal Kombat game. I already had bought a copy before I pre-owned it. Well, I pre-ordered it. I won the game, so I thought, this is great. I could probably sell it and just make some money. So I thought at the time, like, if it was like still in the it was still in the package when I got the game. I just wanted to trade it in and get some cash for it. My brother, he opened the game, so I'm pretty sure it must have lowered the value like a couple bucks. If he's listening to us, the J Love, like, screw you, you jerk. But yeah, he opened the game. He said, "Hey, it plays just like the other game." I'm like, "Oh, you little asshole." So so I had a ton of fun with that game. But yeah, where did I leave off? Oh yeah, I just want to tell stories on YouTube. So I decided to become a podcaster, and I'll do some like speed painting sessions on my channel. I just uploaded one of my mini painting. That one's got a whole story to it too. I had drawn the skeleton about 5 years ago, and I thought it looked great in pencil. So I wanted to switch it over to scratchboard with gouache because I had been practicing with gouache. I hated how it turned out. So rather than pretty much improving it or tossing it out, I just kept it and tucked it away somewhere till just recently, about 3, 4 weeks ago, I found it again. I decided, you know what, maybe I can still like repaint it. And I could. I erased it from the original scratchboard and switched it over to a smaller one. So now it looks different from the original pencil design, but I think it turned out great. It's a new favorite of mine. Well, new current favorite of mine. I've got so many favorite pieces.
So that actually brings me to my next question. I see that you tend to use watercolor paint and gouache a lot in your artwork. Let us know why you enjoy those so much. Also, I've happened to notice that you don't have a lot of digital work in your portfolio. Would you be able to let us know why that is as well?
Yeah, I suck at it. I'm not gonna
Straightforward
lie.
answer. Cool.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna be honest. I'm terrible at digital. I actually didn't start painting digitally. Well, that's not true. In high school, I used to paint on MS Paint. That was fun. I used to screw around with that, just pretty much like the spray paint. Anyways, Photoshop I didn't start using till junior year of college, which no, not even. Yeah, junior year, sophomore must have been 7, 8 years ago. Yeah, I'm starting to feel my age now. Anyways, yeah, I didn't really start using it. I didn't experiment with it. I was still a traditional artist because I love drawing in pencil and I love taking those risks. Like if you screw up once, you can't go back. So I love being a risk taker when it came to my art. I My new favorite medium is watercolor now. I love painting it. I just love just the how fluid it is on paper is it's absolutely amazing. Pencil, I'll always go back to. I love drawing in pencil. That's still like my first love, pretty much right there.
I think that might be all
I
of our
just
first loves that we all started with a
yeah,
pencil, right?
we started either with pencil or crayons, which I
Yeah.
actually want to buy a box of crayons. I've been dabbling on this idea of painting in crayons again
Uh,
because I have like just I love drawing crayons. Crayola, if you're listening, just sponsor us, please. Pretty much. But yeah, I just started getting into pens like 2 years ago, just painting in ink. It is for Inktober. I it's just like that's a great risk right there, just painting in pens.
mhm.
Hey, you screw up, you're done. But whatever, I'm sure you can improvise. Just as the great Bob Ross said, it's happy little accidents, and you just go from there pretty much.
Mhm. No, in hearing you say this, do you basically just like get a really good thrill out of that, like knowing that, and do you feel like it motivates you more, knowing that once you put down whatever it is you draw, you can't go back. So you either gotta make up for it or just come up with something new. Whereas when you're doing digital art, you make a mistake, oh, go ahead and just press Control Z and bam, there you go.
Yeah, no, I love like I'll still do digital drawings. I'll have a few up like my my logo, my drone's logo, the zombie head. That started off in pencil. I trace it over with in Photoshop. But yeah, no, I just love just taking those risks with pen and pencil to like you can erase, but there's still like those dark marks that you'll leave. Sometimes I'll even do a scribble in my sketchbook. I have two different mini sketchbooks right now. One's like specifically for graphite drawings and pencil drawings, and another one's just basically ballpoint pens, like pretty much any random pen. Like I still have a pen from our college, our school. I still draw with that. I was actually using it not too long ago, a few hours ago. But yeah, I'll draw with them. I have. Oh, I even have a. I had a sketchbook dedicated specifically to celebrity portraits. I just finished that last year. Last drawing was of Jim Carrey. He's a fantastic actor. As far as taking risks, yeah, I'll take some risks. I'll scribble in a sketchbook and from there pretty much just like draw out the shapes and see where it goes from there. Sometimes even in pen, like I don't know where I'm going with it, so I'll pretty much let the pencil or pen guide me. Actually, some of my favorite drawings started off that way. Like my I have this one piece that's masonite board layered in India ink and painted over in gouache, which is a zombie the graphite pencil redesign. I call it the dark path. And that just started off as a happy accident. I was drawing one summer day, I believe it might have been March of 2013. I was just drawing along a film that I had rented, and I just wanted to go just randomly draw something, and I came up with that zombie. I thought, oh, this looks really cool. I want to see where I could take it from here, and I'll still update it a little. Like, of course, the sketchbook it'll get weathered to drawing, so I'll just touch it up a little. But yeah, it's still one of my favorite drawings. I still have both the original and my parents have the masonite painting.
Very excellent, man. Excellent. That was really informative. Definitely let us know your process and why you choose the medium that you do. That's definitely fantastic. There is, I think there was one. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, no, I didn't. Sorry, I didn't start experimenting with mediums actually till I was in college. Well, a little before college. I remember there was this scholarship competition. I had no other supplies other than pencils. So I was screwed. I knew I wasn't going to win a scholarship, but I still, like once I got into college, fundamentals of art, that's probably one of the best classes I took because I was experimenting with acrylic art, which again, I'm terrible at acrylic.
Yeah, I should mention too. Yeah, I became a watercolor person. I'm like I used most of that traditionally before I started getting into digital and comic, not copic, but Copic markers. I know the
I'm
oil.
still experimenting with markers. Actually, I've got a ton of markers. I don't use them. I should. But yeah, I'm terrible with them. But I still want to practice. I've got so many more color pencils, which I love drawing in color pencils. I actually drew more in color pencils when I was younger than I do now.
Same here. In high school we started getting a little bit more advanced with color pencils, but I was just gonna say just going into like what you said, same thing when we got to college and we went to fundamentals classes when we started learning about all these different mediums you can use, and it's like, oh wow, there's so much more ways to draw and shade and everything, and just finding out what best works for you and your style.
Yeah, no, I think watercolor was the one. Just painting it in colors.
And you know what? It lasts so long.
It does, actually. I'm actually working. Well, I'm trying to work on this Rick Grimes painting that I started 2-3 months ago, way before jury duty. So I'm still trying to finish. I'm halfway there, so I'm hoping by the mid-season premiere, I'll have it done. Hopefully, if you can follow me again, Indie Ducky on Instagram. I'll post it there first. Yeah, watercolor is lasting. It's definitely a ton of fun. If you're patient, like I am, then you'll have a ton of fun with it. If not, then I don't know. I don't know what to say.
There's other out there.
There's definitely some grades out there, like grade mediums for you to use. Watercolor you can definitely use as a background, or just pretty much setting down like that first layer of painting and just going over it with color pencil or even pen or pencil.
Oh yeah, definitely. I'd like to go ahead and move on to the next question. Basically, me being a WWE fan, professional wrestling fan, I wanted to know because you mentioned on the interview that I had actually on your channel that you stopped watching between the times of Eddie
Yeah, yeah.
Guerrero and Chris Benoit's deaths. With that said, I wanted to know what in particular made you stop watching wrestling. I asked this because as a fan who's been pretty much a hardcore fan, still watching through all the years, it's always interesting to hear from that perspective from the opposite side. People who stopped watching wrestling, used to watch it back in the day.
Let's see. I know I stopped watching because when I was in high school,
Mm-hmm.
then like I was starting to not have the time to watch. Honestly, I had been playing baseball. We had some late games going on. I used to travel about an hour and a half for high school,
Mm-hmm.
just on CTA. So it would take me forever sometimes. Some of our games would overlap on wrestling nights, and then my grandfather just stopped watching. I used to watch so many wrestling matches with him. Like
Mm-hmm.
he loves wrestling. I loved wrestling. Just watching it's really nice watching it with him. Well, it was. But now his favorite wrestler is or was Eddie Guerrero.
Mm-hmm.
He he as soon as Eddie Guerrero died, my grandfather always got excited, like, hey, there's my guy, pretty much. It's like, there's my dude. It was like just the day he heard the news that Eddie Guerrero died, the day I heard the news that Eddie Guerrero died, I was a freshman in high school. I was in the computer lab. I saw on Yahoo News that he passed away, and I was so heartbroken for myself and just thinking like, well, how would my grandfather react? So when he heard that, he was a little hurt too. So in a way, it wasn't the same.
I got you.
Like I just got just so distracted, pretty much. Like so afterwards, I just got distracted, and I just didn't have the time for it. Like I'll probably watch a match. I remember I saw a recent match last year. I don't know what happened. I think somebody lifted a bus. No, it was an ambulance. I don't know
Haha,
if
I know who that
this.
is.
I'm pretty.
Braun! At least that's how he introduces somebody. That's Braun Strowman.
Oh well, that's strong, man. He was lifting an ambulance and then he flipped some guy in a gurney. Like what
Roman
the hell's going
Reigns.
on? What did I miss? Well, what did I miss? Like
Yeah, he's one of the most popular superstars they have now, just because it's some of the crazy stuff. But it's kind of some of the stuff they do with him is a callback to some of the crazy stuff that they used to do in wrestling back when it was its most popular period. Um,
yeah, I know Mick Foley's flip people off. Well, he used to flip his crazy stuff off a steel cage.
oh yeah, good
I,
times.
yeah.
I was gonna say
Uh,
that.
oh, speaking of
Oh, go ahead.
wrestling, there was this while where I thought Goldar from the Power Rangers was voiced by Macho Man Randy Savage.
Ooh yeah.
Yeah, get those Power Rangers.
You need to go get those
I used to
Power
think there was.
Rangers. Oh, yeah, well, I'm gonna go ahead and drop the elbow from them. Oh, yeah. Yeah. You know what? That would be awesome. I tell you, all my friends would have loved Macho Man and the Power Rangers. At least we got him in Dexter's laboratory.
Yeah. I actually have another film theory. Well, not film theory. Going back to our talk with
Hmm.
Marvel films with the Blade films. I think Blade 3 gets a lot of bad crap. I barely remember it. I think I didn't want to watch it then. I watched it. It's definitely not memorable in any way other than it just exists and Triple H was in it. But I think Blade 3 would have been better if it was revealed that Ryan Reynolds' character in that film was actually Wade Wilson in one of his final missions before he became Deadpool. So I think that would have been just something That's actually something to consider now if you're listening Marvel. So please make that canon.
You know,
Please make my theory canon that Ryan Reynolds was Deadpool in that film.
and I was gonna say, speaking of Blade, I heard that they might be bringing Wesley Snipes back as Blade. I don't know if it's for a fourth movie or a reboot. Did you hear anything about that?
Yes, I just heard the news today,
Oh, great, perfect
and
timing.
I think it would be great to see Blade come back. And if not, it'd be great to see him in the Marvel Netflix universe. I think that actor who played what was it? Not Diamondback, but the other one. One of the villains in the Luke Cage story, the Netflix series. I thought he would have been a great replace. Mahershala Ali. He would be a great replacement for Blade if they ever decide to recast him. And whoever played Diamondback in the Luke Cage series, I think he would be a great replacement for Candyman if they ever remade that horror series, which is based here in Chicago. Well, it was filmed here in Chicago. But yeah, I think those two were great actors in the Luke Cage series. And Blade, I love Blade. I remember seeing Blade 1 in theaters. I was a little kid. That was one of the best experiences I've had as a kid in the theaters. And that whole, like, the hospital scene, that was a memorable one. That one overweight vampire that's still disgusting was amazing.
Oh, that death scene at the end when his body's getting all bubbled up and boom, but like, oh boy, it looked painful to me as a kid. I remember, yeah, those Blade movies were good going back then. Yeah, that's what I grew up with as a kid. Like, oh man, we got to grow up watching so many awesome violent stuff. But hey, we turned out great, so yeah. Hey, let me go ahead and ask you this one. I know we talked a little bit about anime on your channel, but do you have a favorite anime?
Currently, it's once again Dragon Ball Z. It's overall, I would say my favorite would be Digimon. Yes, guys, I'm a Digimon fan. I love Pokemon. I love their games, but their anime series is just, well, yeah, the animated series is just, it's not good. Well, not anymore. It's pretty much the same stuff. But Digimon, I love they actually they have a series, like a series story lines to each season. And yeah, there's some crappy moments, but yeah, as I mentioned on your interview, on my podcast with your interview, was my favorite season of Digimon is, and still is, season 3, because there was a much darker tone to it compared to the previous two seasons. It's a different set of characters compared to the first two seasons, but it's still a much darker and deeper story. Like, there was some Digimon that actually were killed, and that just makes one of the main characters just depressed, is all how she became a villain. But yeah, it's one of my favorites because the main character, Takato, was an artist, just like I was at the time. And, well, I still am. But he was an artist. He drew his own Digimon. The Digimon somehow came to life through the power of anime or whatever. But yeah, that I was drawing my own Digimon at the time. I I love creating. I still create creatures. I think that's one of my inspirations. Was when I was drawing Digimon. I was drawing my own creature. I'll still draw some. I've got a ton of creatures. One of my favorites that I've drawn is I've drawn a series of little monsters I called Asylum Knights, and I had this whole story about just writing a book on all these asylum-looking creatures that lived in an asylum, and they're all mutated just like inmates at some horror asylum. It's just they're really grotesque, but I think they're cute at the same time, which is kind of like insane, and I love it. But yeah, Digimon is one of my favorites. I love their stories. I haven't seen the new films. I think they're coming to theaters in an English dub. I said Ultimate Muscle. I remember Fox changed their lineup. They rebranded themselves into Foxbox, and I thought it sucked that they changed everything, but I was still willing to give them a try. So I did. When they came back, I watched Ultimate Muscle. I thought it was hilarious. That's a show about wrestling too, but it's hilarious. I love it. It's like a wrestling version of Dragon Ball Z, pretty
Yeah, that's
much.
one of the things that kind of got me into Ultimate Muscle for the few episodes that I got to see it. Because by that time, I'm still a big wrestling fan, so it's like, wrestling, anime together, yeah.
Yeah, that's probably I think the closest we'll ever get to a anime style wrestling, pretty
Yeah, for
much. I
sure.
remember you had a whole idea for animated drawn wrestlers
Yeah,
for
I did do that
WWE.
for some of my
I still remember that.
projects.
You
Yeah,
know, that was interesting.
yeah, I did. I remember
That was
doing that.
I think that would be a good idea too.
Yeah, it'd be cool. I would love to see with how big anime has gotten in the country, like in America. It'd be one of those things if Vince McMahon and the WWE would ever want to invest. Obviously, it's going to take a lot more time, but they could really let their imagination flow, especially with like characters like the Undertaker and Kane, who are like those
Oh, Kane would be a great one to be
yeah, it would be
an
really
anime.
cool to see what they do. I know they do got comic books where they let their imaginations run wild, but it'd be interesting. It'd be a
Mm.
lot to invest in. It's cool too because a lot of the oh boy, I got Dragon Ball in my mind, but the reason why is because a lot of current WWE superstars are big Dragon Ball fans and anime fans, like Xavier Woods of the New Day, Sasha Banks. Like there's just so many. Ronda Rousey, who just made her debut in the WWE. Even in UFC, there's so many people who
Yeah.
were inspired by Dragon Ball. That's why I was having the craziest time when I saw Ronda Rousey at WrestleMania 31 with a Vegeta shirt on, and then the next year at WrestleMania 32, the New Day comes out with custom-made Saiyan armor. For those of you who watch the Funimation W, know it's known as the Saiyan armor. That was so cool because it's like, man, there's all these. I love that Dragon Ball is some way, shape, or form appearing on WWE. It's so cool. uh, so yeah, those are good things. Before we wrap up here, I've got a couple of more questions. First, I would like
Yeah,
to know, in your opinion, because we both went to college, we both graduated. Do
we
you,
did.
do
Yeah.
you recommend for like any artist who's like about to come out of high school, not sure exactly if they don't want to go to if they want to go to college or not, because obviously there's a lot of money involved. There's loans involved now that we have to pay back. So with all that said in mind, what we've learned and knowing how much is available out there on social media and tutorials on YouTube, do you recommend anyone who's about to graduate high school and is interested in being an artist, do you recommend them going to college for art?
Uh, honestly, yes. That's as much as I hate to admit it. Sometimes well, I did learn stuff. Let's just say that. But yeah, I would get into like constructive criticisms. I didn't take it well sometimes, but I did learn a lot from them. Sometimes you just when you think you're not learning, you are learning, and you are making a ton of connections. Like obviously, we're still talking, you and I, 8 years later. That's like there's no replacing that. You're in a field where you're you're just surrounded by so much creativity, and there's just that's just like being surrounded by that day by day is amazing. Like that inspires you that motivates you to be a better artist and to be creative and still be drawing. Like I'll still draw every day, and there's not a day that goes by where I don't miss some of my friends just drawing alongside them, just talking to them, chatting with them. But yeah, just the connection that you gain, just seeing your teachers, just hearing their critiques and their criticism. Like I know there was some like I've had tough times there. Like financially, yeah, it's gonna be expensive. I will be honest, is just there should be no shame in saying that you have to go part time. Like yeah, you're not gonna graduate with your friends, but you'll still be able to afford school. Like just go part time if you have to. There's what else? Yeah, no, there's just so much. It's definitely I think it definitely worth it for the long run because I still go to the academy. Like I remember the first day, the first words I heard was when I got in was, well, congratulations and welcome, or pretty much welcome to the academy. I just walking down those halls for the first time, seeing Alex Ross, his artwork. He was another. I didn't mention it, but he was one of my main inspirations. Either way, I was still set on going to art school, even if it was like just art class. Like it doesn't matter what kind of art class. If you're going to college for art, just I would recommend it. Like even if you're just going to like a community class, just I would recommend taking art because I still believe I've told somebody earlier that I believe we're all creative in our own way in our own sense, and we have or we should have the responsibility to express our creativity, whether it's being a poet or an artist or a musician. I I would love for more people to be creative, and that's great. Just again, just being surrounded by so many creative people, that was just so magical in a way. It was like we were all united with just one passion, and I think that's great. Like overall in life, like I'm still learning life lessons through my art, and there's still a lot of like techniques and tips that I'm hearing from like that reflect back from college days, like how to like do my taxes. Like I'm still doing my taxes as a self-employed artist, and that's like there's just no taking back that experience that I've had in college, and I think I don't regret that at all. Like the money, yeah, like I wish I had all that money back, but again, I would recommend if you're gonna be an artist, then just take risks and just go to college. And if that's not for you, then you'll know like early on. But I would still recommend just taking a chance, even just go part time your first semester. Just take that risk and just have fun while because art is art. I've told so many people already that even when you retire from being an artist or self-employed artist, like you're never really done afterwards. Like you'll still be drawing for yourself, and I think that's great.
Hey man, that was very very well said. I'm actually gonna say too. It does go back. I remember because I was listening to a very well known filmmaker on here, D4 Darius. He actually broke down a lot of stuff, and I think we can apply this to art as well.
Hmm.
He was saying that basically, would he recommend people going to film school or not? And he said the first thing is he's like, most companies that hire you, they care mostly about your work, and your degree is secondary. That's the most thing. So most important thing is to make sure you hone your skills and you hone your craft and you get better. And he said there's a lot of resources available out there online for you to learn if you're looking to save money and everything, because not everyone can afford to go there. But
Yeah.
ultimately, he said that as far as though in his personal experience, because he did end up going to he did end up going to filming school. He would recommend it because he says if for no other reason, he says it's the connections he made. And
Yeah, yeah.
he was saying how for going there to film school, he wouldn't have been able to make his first short film. And a lot of what you were saying is very true when you're talking about connections. Me personally, there's no way I would have been able to make Battle Deception had I not gone to school. Could you just imagine the photography instructor there, Robert Dre, me just being a guy coming off the street? Yeah, can I borrow about $20,000 worth of equipment? He looked at me like I was crazy. But
Yeah, and in a way, going to art school for us, and now like I said, I went back. You've gone back. I'm sure you
oh
have gone back.
yeah, definitely.
The way I see it is like not only is it just a college tuition, it's also an investment,
Sure.
like for life. Like you can go back whenever. Like we are still getting invited for alumni, like resume reviews and just job fairs and just meeting all these experts. Like I'll still sit in. Well, it's been a while, but I will sit in all these like artist visits. They're really fascinating. It's just I think it's an investment.
Definitely.
If you see it that way, then yeah, it's definitely worth it. Like you'll still be able to go anytime you want to college, unless you have like a really bad experience. Then damn.
Right.
But still,
Wait.
there's no way you don't learn something from college.
Yeah, I was gonna say the academy. That's another thing. They always welcome us back with open arms. I've been able to go in there.
Especially on those Halloween parties, I missed them
Oh
so.
yeah, Halloween
That's
was
the
the
I
best.
regret the most was like just not being able to stick around for those amazing Halloween parties. Like I'll still see some like photos of like all these amazing costumes. For those of you who don't know, there would be so many Halloween parades at our school. Just again, so many creative people just having fun, just dressing up. Like I still remember this one artist, Chase, just dressing up as Edward Scissorhands. He was spot on
Yeah,
with
I
his
think that was
costume.
a freshman year, and he won. Yep.
Freshman year, he was great. You've dressed up too.
Oh yeah.
I
Took me a
I
while. Took me a while.
yeah, same here. I dressed up as a mime because I just happened to have the shirt. I thought whatever. And then Michael Myers. But yeah, it's college is fantastic. Like I'll still talk to some of my college buddies, and yeah, I'll have my regrets. Like I know I've got a ton of regrets that I wish I could take back, and then just like yeah, but some of the teachers. There's I know I would butt heads with some of my teachers during critiques, and I knew what I wanted to do already, and I was like, if I could go back in time, and talk to myself, I was like, dude, just learn from it. Like I'm still learning from it. If they're listening in, and I apologize for being such a jerk, and like you're right. Like damn, I don't want to say it, but yeah, they were right.
And, I was gonna say too when it comes to instructors, because like I said, when I go back there, another one of the best instructors I had was Rich Kritska, and
Yeah.
man, every time we go back, and if he's got the time, he'll love to talk with us and just always give so much encouraging feedback and everything. So the
Yeah.
thing is, they really make you feel like a family there, and getting into like the instructors, like I was saying, like for one of the things is like there are a lot of resources online, but if you do go to college and you have a lot of good instructors who give you that hands-on experience, and you get those constructive feedback because you're working with people who've been in the industry for several years, several decades, and they know what they're talking about. And one of
Well, too, over the course of 4 years, it's really quick, but they've seen you grow as an artist. Like you start off as drawing like stick figures and it's your first life drawing class to drawing full page portraits of people, and it's like you'll see improvements in yourself, and they'll see it. And they're not your bosses; they're just your teachers, and they'll be more than happy to teach you, and they'll guide you in growing art wise and professionally. I think it's again, it really is a great investment.
And I was gonna add on to that with something that you get with those constructive feedbacks, as Drones is just talking about here. Is that you might want to do something and then they say do it that way, do it this way, and eventually you end up finding your own style. You end up finding who you are as an artist. And I think one of the best things about being able to have such a difference in opinion, like when I would have Tom Hirschberg's critiques and Rich Kritska's critiques, they had two very
Yeah.
different styles. But the best thing about it is you could take all these different opinions that you're getting from everyone, and you can like put them all together and see what ultimately works best for you. And you learn a lot that way. And I think that teaches you, because you're always going to get different views and opinions. And a lot of times in life, you kind of take what advice you can and see if you can apply it to yourself and help. If not, just hear it out. So you really get all that, and especially with all the friends you get to make and everything. Those are connections you have coming already out. Like, I mean, like you could still find them online, but just going every day, you're just going through every day until you graduate. And like I said, I've made some of my best friends there just from the anime club, and meeting
Mhm.
so many people there that
I
obviously we're
think
still
it's
in
the same with
contact
the
with.
anime club posters.
Uh,
I was there, like I said, I was there the other day, and it's just so weird not seeing your anime club posters on the
oh
walls.
yeah.
Like, it doesn't feel the same anymore. Like, I feel like you should just show up, put a post, just anime bake sale. I was
Oh
like,
yeah, I
yeah,
remember those.
this
Yeah,
is this is the art colors I know and love. Like, this is it now. Now it seems like I'm back at home.
right, yeah, I remember. I miss all. There's used to be so many posters there and everything.
Yeah,
But the talent that I've seen there, the new talent that they have in from all the students is tremendous. But
yeah,
um,
it's
I hope that anyone who's listening to this really takes everything that we said in account. Like Jerome said, college may or may not be for you, but hopefully we've kind of given you a way to look at both sides of it,
mm,
and you know exactly the good things that come from going to college. And basically, if things aren't for you, at least you know there's something else out there for you. But hopefully, we gave you a lot to think about. And before we wrap up this interview, I want to conclude on this. You mentioned that you are a self-employed artist. With that said in mind, I want to know: do you have any advice out there for any artists that want to go the self-employed route?
have fun. It's honestly the best advice I can give is have fun. Just know your audience. Know where you're going. Just be prepared. Set goals for yourself. Like, don't ever stop trying. Just as soon as that I know I had trouble once in a while. Like, once it seemed like it was being too much of work and not enough fun, then I couldn't do it. Like, right now I'm pretty much selling my own art. And yeah, I'll pick up a commission or two, but yeah, I love having fun with my own artwork, and there's just no better feeling than be able to create and just creating, just yeah, just more creating. But I've got a ton of stories I'd like to tell through my art as a self-employed artist. Like, I know what my audience is. I love drawing superheroes, and so I know who to connect with when it comes to that. It's, let's see, some more advice. Just yeah, just don't be afraid to make connections, and please do not, please just like do not be a hard ass and just learn to take criticism, constructive criticism. Like me, like I said earlier, I'm still like reflecting back on some of the critiques, some that seem to go bad. I'm like realizing, yeah, I know I was such a hard head, but he had a point. Like, some of our teachers had a point, and when it comes to developing an art style and just pretty much like setting up a painting. But yeah, just have fun. Just have an open mind when it comes to other people's critiques, and just don't be afraid to experiment. Like I said, don't be afraid to take risks. It's your art. It's gonna be you. Like, nobody else made it but you. No, there's when it comes to music. I'm not a musician. But again, there's just no better feeling than being able to create something that you can be proud of. And in a way, this is like our babies, pretty much. So just don't be afraid. Just have fun.
Excellently said, man. Can't agree anymore. Hey, it has been a pleasure talking to you, catching up. It was great doing the interview
So
on your channel, and you were able to come on my channel. When this is exactly what we're talking about after college. We were able
yeah,
to connect and promote each other's work here. So hey, this is fantastic. With that said in mind, speaking of promoting, I give you the floor now to go ahead and plug your social media outlets.
yeah. Like I said, you can follow me on Instagram. My Instagram handle is Indie Ducky, INDIEDUCKIE. I also have a Facebook page. It's Nunez Illustrations, NUNEZ Illustrations. Yeah, I post much more on Instagram, though I am trying to build a bigger audience on Facebook now. With that said, thank you so much, man. I had a ton of fun. Oh, you can follow me on YouTube, Drones with a Z, DRONES, NEZ. Damn, I can't even talk anymore. I'm so tired. But yeah, thank you so much for having me. It was a ton of blast interviewing you and being interviewed. This is like one of the few times I get to talk about myself as an art professional. So I had a ton of fun. Thank you so much. I'm looking forward to collaborating with you again.
No
This was
problem. Same here. Likewise, I'm glad I was able to give you a platform as you were able for me as well. So you
yeah,
guys have his social media, and I will have the link posted below in the description.
thanks. Follow them.
Thank you. And with that said in mind, everyone, I hope you were able to get something interesting out of this interview. Hope you feel inspired to go out there and draw, create music, filming, whatever it is you do. I hope you are inspired to do that. Once again, pleasure having you on here again, Drones. And till the next time, everyone, take care.